issues started with NFF suggesting Finidi George's assistant, and some said that, and Finidi said later that he picked his assistant himself. And concerning Amokachi was supposed to be in New York or in the camp, he was nowhere to be found. And this also were causing, should I use the word unnecessary distraction, if it was even a distraction at all. And now, and in that contract, we're told that the contract did not go well with Amokachi. Do you have any information as regards to this, or what's your opinion on this?
Personally, I don't have any inside information regarding the contract of Amokachi. And the only thing I know is that contracts are always a communication between two parties. But before you make an announcement to say you have appointed somebody, you must have dotted all the T's, all the I's, and crossed all the T's before his name is announced as the assistant to Finidi George. Now, it now becomes a national embarrassment for a coach, even if it's an assistant, to walk out on a team. And it is because we didn't really go through the whole process well. It is not just limited to our football, it is part of our culture here. In most cases, we just announce somebody's name on the radio, saying this person has been appointed, this person has been done, without even getting to know from the person whether he has accepted. So the normal thing is for you to get across to the person, this is what we are offering you. Is it okay by you or not? If the fellow says yes, then it is okay. But now the information is that the man said he has some issues with the type of contract he was offered. I don't know what the content of that letter, of that contract, so I cannot comment on it. But if he had issues, they should have raised these issues long before now, not when we have crucial assignments, because the match day 3 and 4 were perceived to be the matches that will make or mar our chances of qualifying. And it is not at that period that you now have these issues. I know last year, even when Finidi George was an assistant to Pesero, Finidi George, Ikeshorumu, and some other coaches, just before our match with Equatorial Guinea, they just on phone, they just called them on phone and asked them not to report to camp. So, and that caused a lot of embarrassment, not just to the people concerned, but to the nation. Sure. So that means you appoint people on by phone call, and you also sack them by phone call, which is a very, there is no corporate governance in NFF. Otherwise, that kind of thing should not have happened. This kind of issue, the NFF ought to have even issued a public statement to say, okay, we appointed so, but apparently he's no longer interested. So we are leaving him out. So, but now everything was left into into public speculation. Everybody speculated why Amokachi was not in camp, why Amokachi, some people say Amokachi has resigned. When I tried to even get an inside information, those I spoke with within the NFF, they were saying they didn't really know what was happening. And a source close to Finidi George said he called him and told him that he has some issues to sort out, and that until he sorts those issues out, he would not be in camp. And that was...
Of unverified information getting to our decks has to do with the contract and the way the contract has been laid down. We were told that part of his job description is to enforce that the Super Eagles attack gets it right as an assistant. And he was not, if that's correct, that he was not happy with the pay per game or per anytime they go to play games, that is when he's going to get paid and all that. That he wants something substantial. These are unverified information, but that is what is making the round, which is not something we can say that is true, but not unconnected with the situation. But pay per game or per matches, is it a world standard for coaches that you only get remuneration or commission anytime you travel with the team? That means they have the right to tell you when to travel with the team or not. And Amokachi, we all know that have been at one of the top realms of football in the country. He was assistant to Stephen Keshi. I think at one time, whether the first or the second assistant to late Shuaibu, and I'm not sure whether he was the assistant with Sunday Ulise, but he has been in that role for a very long time. And at those period of time, there were no issues like this linked to the public about Amokachi not interested in a contract. What can you say about this, sir?
Well, we operate a different system here in Nigeria. Because to start with, I asked myself, why do you employ a coach who will only be active when we have national assignment? We've had coaches before who are domiciled in Nigeria. Thank God, Finidi George is a Nigerian, so he stays with us here. But when we have foreign coaches, immediately after a match like this, they go back to their country to do whatever they are doing, whether they are running hotel or they are doing something, whatever they are busy running their businesses. And at the same time, concurrently, their remuneration is running at home. For instance, we had Pesero was on $50,000 per annum. We asked ourselves, how many months did he work in Nigeria that you have such a situation? So, and we need to document certain things, because once you don't document, there won't be anything you call corporate governance. To say, okay, how is the England coach remunerated? I'm not advocating that the amount that is being paid to Southgate is what should be paid to the Nigerian coach, or how much the national coach of Brazil is getting is what should be paid in Nigeria. But you can have a template that, okay, you will be getting salaries, but there will be no match bonuses. Because it's just like when you said somebody is getting a salary and at the same time getting match bonuses. The first, to start with, the fellow was employed to prosecute those matches. So when you win those matches, it's just like you have just delivered the assignment we gave to you. So if there is going to be anything, it's just going to be maybe a bonus. We are giving you, and that's why it's called bonus. We are giving you this. It's not that it's not that it's your entitlement. So, but we need to document it to say, okay, how do we remunerate our coaches? Would they be on salary and at the same time on allowances, or they will be on salary and we give them bonus? And bonus means at the discretion of the employer. At the discretion of the employer. So you can't be getting salaries regularly, and because the other coaches that we have that I will take as the ideal situation in Nigeria is when we have Clemens Westerhoff and when we have Otto Gloria. These were coaches. I said Otto Gloria. What's his name? Father Tiko.
Okay.
Those were coaches that were resident in Nigeria, and they were going from one league match to the other, watching and evaluating the performance of the players, to know the players they can call up, and to know the players that, well, may not meet the standard, but we can invite these players to camp, we brush them up. If they are good, we can even send them abroad, and they become better for the national team.
Okay.
So, but we have players here, we have coaches, we employ coaches who will be getting $50,000, initially $70,000. We just saunter in, just like the players we do for match on match occasions, and then after the match, the fellow disappears, doing other businesses, and then we tell you, oh, I'm monitoring players abroad. Everybody knows that we can monitor players from anywhere in Nigeria with the current digital era in which we are. You don't need to be in England to know the performance of our players in England.
Exactly.
Maybe occasionally, maybe you decide to visit, to interact with those players, but to stay permanently abroad. Any coach we have that is not domiciled in Nigeria is not our coach.
Well said, and I'm sure that should be the standard. And you've really said so much regards to the code of conduct and governance of NFF. Issues like this are why we have stories like Amokachi not showing interest in the NFF, the contract and all that. And also, before we round up, I want to ask, that's a little bit personal, all the World Cups you've been to, there are not every World Cup you've been to that the Super Eagles have attended from the list you've mentioned. But how does it feel, at least especially from Italian 90, we're not in Italian 90, and in between Italian 90, I think we missed 2 or 3 World Cups. Do you still feel so much happy to be, as a veteran sport journalist that you are, that you be at a World Cup and the Super Eagles of Nigeria is not there? Is there a difference between when the Super Eagles of Nigeria is in a World Cup and you are there at that venue, and a World Cup where there is no Super Eagles and you are still there? Is there any difference between your career so far in regards to that?
Yeah, well, I've attended 3 World Cup editions in which Nigeria didn't qualify. The first one was Italia 90, which was my own first cap. Nigeria was not there. I was at Germany 2006. Nigeria didn't qualify. I was at Qatar 2022. Nigeria didn't qualify. The only difference is that one will have less pressure, but it will have been one's desire to have Nigerian team in a World Cup you are covering. You know that first and foremost, your primary assignment is to tell Nigerians back home the performance of their team. You follow that team. But when the Nigerian team is not there like this, you are just like a freelancer, just jumping from one team to the other and trying to, within gauge which team is likely to have followership back home, so that, because your being there is also to inform and also to follow the passion of your readers back home. So when Nigerian team is not in a World Cup like this, it's always a very, very bad situation for one as a journalist, even though there will be less pressure, because nobody will say, why did he miss that story from the Nigerian camp, or he didn't report Nigerian team well and all those things. That pressure will be off, but it is still, there is something we call pleasurable pressure, that is reporting your team, highlighting your team. In that wise, you're also contributing to the development of your team and all those things. Like in the last World Cup, I have to adopt Morocco as the African flag bearer and follow Morocco throughout their World Cup campaign, and they got as far as semi-final. I would have wished it as a Nigerian team.
Oh, okay. But thank you so much. Lastly, which is my last question for we round up for the show today. How hopeful should we be in regards to the next game against Benin? And what are you going to say finally? Should Nigeria be hopeful, or what should Nigeria do? Not Nigerians, but say NFF and Finidi George should do to give Nigeria back the hope. Because I'm not saying this, but there's evidence that a lot of people that support the local coach coming in, that support Finidi George, we will keep quiet or perhaps walk back away from him if we end up also drawing our next game against Benin. So where should we hang this hope, or how hopeful should we be?
Well, certainly they still have to draw from the players that they have in camp. Now, he has watched one match that we struggled to draw. Now we are going for another one. It's an opportunity for him to reevaluate what went wrong in the match against South Africa and try and see how they are going to at least work on that. I would have expected that the match against Benin, that would have had our monitors there to at least give us an indication of the strength and weaknesses of Benin, to see how we can exploit that situation. The only good thing is that, well, there's a large population of Nigerians in Cote d'Ivoire, so we are expecting that, okay, we may not be lacking in support in that place. And for the neutrals, they will be hoping to support a team that had a better entertainment, so which I expect Nigeria to have. But certainly, our midfield needs to be tightened, because if the midfield is solid, that is, they'll be able to assist the defense, and at the same time be able to assist the attack, and at the same time too, the frequency of penetration into our defense line will be limited, because the midfield will have absorbed a lot of pressure.
Okay. Thank you very much, most respected Kunle Solaga. Thank you very much for your time. Hopefully, after the game, we'll talk to you soon to give us your own expert opinion, as always, on football in the country. Thank you very much for your time.
You are welcome.
Yes, I've been speaking with, if you're just joining us, been speaking with Kunle Solaja, publisher of Village Square Sports, and he has been doing so well when it comes to football in the country. He has, if you look at his profile, so much to learn from, and so much he's giving back to the society for what during the period of his he's still active during the period of his career. Thank you very much. So you can join us on all our social media platforms, where the conversation never stops, to be part of today's program. And don't forget, next week Saturday, we'll be giving you another bomber package of what is going on in the world of sport. Thank you very much. I remain Mudashiru Shitu. See you same time next week on Plus Sports Special.